from all indications, from all opinion polls, from the words on the street, from every indication, it is very clear that P2B appears to be the most popular aspirant on the platform of the PDP. P2B appears to be the most widely acceptable aspirant. And this is not so far-fetched. The reason for P2B's acceptance today is because he is seen by many to possess the qualities needed to actually manage and pilot the affairs of a cash-strapped, debt-riddled, and poor-performing country such as Nigeria. Now, P2B has a reputation for frugal management of public resources and impressive performance as governor of 8 years in Anambra State. And his antecedent speaks clearly for him. P2B may not have been as popular as this a few years ago, but the politics of patronage was the norm and was one that was widely acceptable to all Nigerians. But today that we seem to have come to our wit's end, we've seen where the politics of patronage and resource sharing has taken us to as a country. We are at the tipping point of becoming a failed state economically, security-wise, and on all indices of national development, Nigeria is failing. And so Nigerians, in their quest for good governance, appear at this point to be galvanizing support for that candidate whom they see as possessing the most important qualities that are required now to salvage whatever is left of Nigeria. And that person happens to be P2B of the PDP. And there's something the PDP may not have considered in its permutation so far. It is the fact that P2B comes from the southeast. The southeast that is predominantly of the Igbo-speaking people of Nigeria happens to be one of the big three ethnic groups in Nigeria. And so when you look at the northwest votes, and you imagine, for instance, that the APC or President Muhammadu Buhari has a vote bank of 12 million votes, it is also instructive to note that P2B, with the massive support he's having from his home region and across the country, can be said to have a potential vote bank of not less than 10 million votes. Because if you look at the mathematics, the people of Southeast Nigeria are actually resident in all parts of the country. In fact, it is believed that the Southeast community in every part of Nigeria constitute the largest communities, second only to the indigenous communities or to the host communities. And so we've seen how this particular ethnic group has supported the PDP since 2015. And that is why whenever you have the PDP reaching the 10 to 12 million mark in every presidential election since 2015, you can be rest assured that an overwhelming majority of that vote comes from people of Southeast origin, wherever they reside, from Lagos to Abuja, Kano, Kaduna, and of course the Southeast. So we may look at the figures coming out of the Southeast alone and assume that the voting strength of the Southeast is negligible. It is not so. If you look at it from that perspective, you'll be missing a very important point. And what am I saying in essence? Why would the PDP want to risk a sure 10 million vote draft of the Southeast in search of an elusive 12 million vote that will not necessarily come to it, even if you field another candidate? Atiku Abubakar or Tambuwal or any of the other northern aspirants on the platform of the PDP do not have what it takes to pull the right numbers from the northern part of this country. So at best, what the PDP should do is to leverage on the 10 million vote bank that comes with the PDP candidacy and simply draw from the moderate and liberal votes in the north to make it up and win the presidency. So if there's any aspirant within the PDP fold today that actually has what it takes to win the presidency for the PDP, it's actually P2B because of his antecedents, because of his wide acceptability as we speak across the country, from the north to the south, from the east to the west. And so it will simply resolve all of the problems. It will zone to the south, It also gives the Southeast that has been clamoring for this presidency for as long as we remember now, and also present a good candidate in the person of Mr. P2B. Let me say this: zoning is not an anathema. Is not an anathema to competence. Zoning and competence are actually mutually inclusive, because zoning is simply in advancement of the principles of social justice, equity, and unity, which is conditions, which is a condition that is preceding national development. Without unity, you can't have national development. And in zoning, you have to zone competently. And I'm saying, when you pick a P2B, for example, on the platform of the PDP, you have zoned competently. You have presented somebody from the right part of the country that has the competence and the capabilities to deliver. And so the PDP will do itself a lot of good if it does not take the Southeast vote, and by extension the entire Southern vote, for granted. Some of the leading socio-cultural groups in the South, the Pandef, the Ohanese, the Afenifere, and of course their allies in the North, those that we call the middle belt people, have come together severally to say, look, we need to zone to the South, and not just to the South, but to the Southeast. And we're saying the PDP is fortunate to have somebody from the Southeast that can go all the way and clinch the presidency if indeed Nigerians want good governance. And so it will be doing itself a lot of good if it does the right thing, because it will yield the right fruit. I listened to Chief Olisametu earlier when he said there are weak aspirants but strong candidates, and that there are strong aspirants but weak candidates. Primary elections of a political party are not in themselves an end. It is simply a means to an end. And the end ultimately is to get a good candidate that can win you the general election. And so the PDP is supposed to actually galvanize the structure and give support to P2B, who otherwise would have been a weak aspirant, to emerge strong and be able to lead the party towards a formidable attempt at the 2023 presidency. And if for any reason P2B does not win, he can at least secure the traditional support base for the PDP in the South-South, the Southeast, parts of the Southwest, and the Middle Belt areas, enough for the PDP to remain a major political party going into the post-Buhari era in Nigeria. Otherwise, like I said earlier, the PDP risks losing a strong base in the Southeast, the South-South, parts of the Southwest, and the Middle Belt in chase of a mirage.